We're getting new information about very confidential files that were breached, including a deposition with a woman who says she had sex with Gaetz when she was 17 years old. CNN's chief legal affairs correspondent, Paula Reid, is working the story for us. What are you learning, Paula?
Well, Wolf, yesterday we reported on this civil litigation down in Florida. This is a lawsuit brought by a friend of former Congressman Matt Gaetz. And as a result of this lawsuit, through the discovery process, they created this whole new trove of evidence, including depositions with, as you just noted, the woman who says she was just 17 when she had sex with Gaetz, as well as other women who were at the party when this alleged encounter took place. They've created this evidence that sources tell us the House Ethics Committee has used in its probe. We've been told that the Ethics Committee has really looked at this lawsuit as a roadmap in terms of who to talk to and what kind of evidence they can gather. And we have learned that some of the records in this case, they are confidential, including that deposition with a 17-year-old girl that is under seal. It's only available to the lawyers involved in the case. And these confidential records, they are stored in a secure online document sharing system. And we've learned that lawyers in the case were notified by another lawyer yesterday that that secure online system was accessed by an unknown third party who had access to that sensitive material that, again, we believe is similar to what could be in the House ethics report. Now, we asked at least one of the lawyers if they had notified authorities about this third-party breach, but we haven't gotten a comment. And of course, this development comes as the House Ethics Committee is going to meet tomorrow to discuss that report. It's unclear, though, if that report will be released. Wolf?
All right, Paula Reid reporting. Paula, thank you very much. President-elect Trump was asked about the controversy surrounding Matt Gaetz just a little while ago, and he doubled down, insisting he is not reconsidering his choice for Attorney General. But concerns are clearly mounting right now up on Capitol Hill. CNN's chief congressional correspondent, Manu Raju, is following all of this for us. Manu, Gaetz is now calling Republican senators, asking them to, quote, give him a shot.
Yeah, he is, in fact, doing that. And tomorrow, Gaetz is expected to be on Capitol Hill with the Vice President-elect, J.D. Vance, meeting with some key senators on the Senate Judiciary Committee, trying to lock down support. But there are a growing number of Republican senators who want to see that House ethics report that goes into allegations of sexual misconduct with Matt Gaetz, which Gaetz has denied, including some Republicans who could weigh in whether they would vote for him or not, or have raised serious concerns, like Senator Lisa Murkowski.
I would like to see our committees do their full job. I'm not interested in a process that would just say, well, because the president has named him and you have Republican chairs coming into the new Congress, that we just move people out. There needs to be legitimate vetting. When I say legitimate, I mean just thorough vetting that the committees do. This is our job.
But don't these sexual misconduct allegations, including sex with a minor, give you pause?
Well, this is what I mean. I mean, this is the right response to that, Manu, is we can either play the hearsay game where it's drip, 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 this person said this person said that, or we could say we're going to move forward with the confirmation process and we're going to allow him to address all of this and lay out his vision for the department. And
sexual misconduct or statutory rape in the case of Matt Gaetz is disqualifying.
Of course, Gaetz has denied those allegations, but tomorrow, Wolf, the House Ethics Committee will meet behind closed doors and as they weigh how to proceed with this report. If a majority of that 10-member committee votes to release it, that could become public. But Wolf, that would require one Republican to join with Democrats. It's unclear if that will happen. And then whether the report will actually come and see the light of day remains an open question, even as GOP senators demand it. Wolf.
All right, Manu Raju up on Capitol Hill. Thank you very much. I want to get some reaction now from our political experts who are standing by. Ana Navarro, let me start with you. Trump says he's not reconsidering Gaetz for Attorney General, even as he's privately acknowledging the odds of his confirmation by the Senate aren't good. What do you think is going on here?
I actually believe that. There's people who think that Matt Gaetz is being used as a sacrificial lamb by Trump so that he can get all his other appointees through. I don't believe that. I think that Donald Trump feels himself invincible with the win he had with a Republican Congress, with a Supreme Court that's given him basically immunity. I think he feels he has no guardrails. I think he feels these Republican senators owe him, that they wouldn't be in the majority but for him, and that they're going to make it happen for him. Also, we know that Donald Trump is not a person who admits mistakes, is not a person who has regrets or apologizes. He doubles down and he tries to ram things through. Look, I remember when Kimba Woods and Zoe Baird, Attorney General appointees of Bill Clinton, had to withdraw because of issues with a nanny. I remember when Neera Tanden, who was an appointee of Joe Biden's, had to withdraw because she had written some pithy, controversial tweets. These are a whole bunch of different standards or lack thereof when it comes to Donald Trump appointees, right? It's not just Gaetz, it's Hegseth, it's RFK, it's Tulsi Gabbard. And, pick one that you're going to battle with.
Let me get Scott Jennings into this conversation. Scott, Trump is working the phone himself for Gaetz, calling senators. Is it good for the GOP for Trump to spend his political capital forcing senators to vote for someone accused of paying a minor for sex?
Yeah, great question. And obviously there's going to be tremendous resistance to Gaetz. And I don't know how successful Donald Trump is going to be at this. I mean, this goes beyond just the handful of senators who normally have problems with Donald Trump or who have feuded with him over issues in the past. I think the resistance to Gaetz goes into people who would say they strongly support Donald Trump but have serious concerns about this. So we'll see if he sticks with it. You know, there's still a lot of time between now and the next Congress convening. And at some point, you know, when you're the president and you've got a nominee for anything, you have to ask yourself, do I want to suffer a defeat? Most people don't get defeated. They just withdraw from the process. It is obvious that all this information that's coming out about Gaetz, whether the House Ethics Committee acts to release their report or not, is going to find its way into the hands of the Senate. They're going to, I think I saw John Cornyn say tonight that they can just re-interview all the same witnesses that interviewed with the Ethics Committee. So I think of all the nominees that are sitting up there right now, I just put Gaetz in a separate category. There's more resistance to him than anybody else, and obviously more issues coming out by the day.
Bakari Sellers is with us as well. Bakari, Elon Musk is also weighing in on this, posting on X that Gaetz has, and I'm quoting him now, a spine of steel and an axe to grind, end quote, and adding, and I'm quoting once again, Gaetz will be our hammer of justice. Is that the role of the Attorney General, you think, to be a hammer with an axe to grind?
It's definitely not when you are a chief judicial officer and the person who is supposed to administer justice fairly and freely and without any intrusion or interference from other branches of government. Elon Musk has his thumb on the scale of government far too much. I mean, I think that his input, I think his impact, I think that the transactional nature of both the organization that he and Vivek Ramaswamy are supposed to lead, as well as the fact that he has just been feeding off of the United States government throughout most of his career to build his businesses. He's a brilliant man, but his impact and input on this government, I believe, will find to be wrought with conflicts of interest. But I think that Scott and Anna were both very, very correct. I mean, I don't necessarily care for Kristi Noem's politics, and I think we can have a robust discussion about policy, et cetera, but she's somebody who probably needs to be voted in. I mean, you look at Mehmet Oz over CMS. I mean, you don't necessarily care for the campaign he run, or maybe have disagreements over politics, but you have the president gets to choose their cabinet. But when you come to people like Hegseth, when you come to people like Tulsi Gabbard, when you come to people like Matt Gaetz, and you have these sincere and serious character flaws that lead into something else, I think the country has to take a pause, and I'm glad that the Senate, all of them, including Republicans, are taking that role seriously.
Anna, as Bakari just mentioned, Trump is naming another TV host to his administration, naming Dr. Mehmet Oz to lead the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, which impacts millions of Americans who rely on Medicare and Medicaid. Is he qualified, do you believe, for that role?
Look, that's a role, that's an answer that has to be found out by the members of the Senate. Certainly there's concerns, right, and there's concerns that should be asked about, right? His quackery, his misinformation during the beginning part of COVID-19, some of his financial interests. So look, if Donald Trump wants to fill his cabinet with TV people, that's up to him. But they need to be qualified, and that is up to the Senate.
Scott, how do you see it?
Yeah, Dr. Oz, I think, is likely to make it because, principally, I've already read tonight that both of his home state senators, who he ran against, by the way, Senator-elect Dave McCormick, has thrown his support behind him. And even John Fetterman has already said, as long as he is committed to protecting Social Security and Medicare, I think we need to give him a chance. So when you have the support of your home state senators, two guys from two different parties that you've run against, I think that bodes well for your nomination. Normally, the person who takes this job really, really loves spreadsheets. And it's true, Dr. Oz is a TV person, but he's also a very celebrated and very decorated surgeon. And so I think he obviously has an interest in public service. That's why he ran for the Senate in the first place. The fact that he wants to do this, I think, is a good thing because we do need to attract people into government who have a sincere interest in public service. And the fact that his former opponents are for him, I love that tonight. So I think this is a good nomination. And of course, he'll have to go through the same hearings. But this is going to work out, hopefully, for President Trump.